I think also that some of the imputation that sort of Ben is not concerned about America because he cares about Israel. I think that Ben genuinely believes that Israel is the outpost of Western civilization in an extremely hostile region, and that the attack on Israel is part of a larger attack on America and the West. I think he believes that sincerely, and for the most part, I agree with him.
You know, Mike Cernovich had a great tweet. I just retweeted it, where he said something to the effect of, "Imagine if you see these people that care so deeply about Israel and this fervor. Imagine if Americans had that same degree of fervor for America." And I'm like, I've been talking about Israel-Palestine derangement syndrome, where people just go to 11 instantly, and I'm like, that's a really great point. I would love it if people were instantly had that fervor for the United States. Unfortunately, what do we get? It's foreign wars, or it's nothing.
Yeah, I think it's also the case that in the case of Israel and in the case of Jews, they do have a weapon that is not available, for example, to whites, which is the anti-Semitic weapon. Because when the left goes, you're a settler, you can play back, you're an anti-Semite. But let's say someone comes and says, you're a white supremacist. You're...
You say, I have black friends.
Exactly.
I had a black president.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
I voted for Obama.
There you go. That's my point.
All right.
Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Ken here today, and we're going to be reacting to this whole Candance Owens versus Ben Shapiro on the whole Hamas, Israel, Palestine conflict, right? And I started off with this intro with Dinesh and Tim Pool discussing it, and I think Dinesh had a very, I say, middle-of-the-road take. I really liked his take on this, that maybe Ben feels like in some ways he believed the interest of Israel is actually tied to the interest of America. And I think Dinesh detailed it perfectly in this intro. So in this video, I kind of want to go through what Candance and Tucker Carlson, who I both like ideology wise, I'm closer to them than I am to Ben. I think Ben is represents more of that traditional Republican conservative wing of the Republican Party, and I believe that Tucker Carlson and Candance Owens is representing more of an American first philosophy about how conservatives should move forward in politics today. But hey, I digress. Let's get into the video, and I'll give you some of my thoughts throughout. Let's go.
Wanted to maybe see your grandma, because grandma shouldn't be dying alone, even if she is dying. So it takes a tremendous amount of humility to admit that you were wrong. People prefer to then pretend the internet will forget, and just that they had more nuance than they did on the issue of the day, which is fine with me. I'm totally
I mean,
fine
it's
with
one
that.
thing not to admit you're wrong. I understand it's difficult to do that. I have to force myself. But to attack other people for being right and then apologize for it does seem immoral.
It is immoral, and when we're living in an environment where there is a lot of media immorality, you know, people would rather you parrot certain talking points rather than have a meaningful discussion and a meaningful dialogue, and they don't accept it. And at the moment that they start to censor speech and they start talking, you know, calling you names, like calling you a grandma killer, calling you a pro-Putin puppet, you know it's because they don't actually believe what they're saying. It's just, these are ad hominem attacks to dissuade from having an actual debate, and there always should be an actual debate on every issue.
And people who are pro-Israel, they're doing this now, right? It's the same thing that what happened with Ron DeSantis' campaign. You criticize Ron DeSantis, all of a sudden you're a hater, you're this, you're that. It's like nuance is dying in our political discussion now. If you don't go all the way one way or all the way the other way, you're the other side. It's baffling to me, right? And I had someone in my comment section when I mentioned how extreme the Democratic Party has become, to the point where liberal Jews are saying that they should no longer support the Democratic Party. Someone commented on my side saying, "Oh, it's both sides. Look at Candance Owens. Look at Tucker Carlson." And I was like, "Yo, Tucker Carlson and Candance Owens has not called for any violence towards Israelis, Jewish people. How can you call him an anti-Semite? Merely because he criticized or they questioned the narrative that Israel has given us." And I find that baffling, right? And imagine me, right? I hate identity politics. So the moment you use their playbook, I'm automatically dissuaded from your position. You pro-Israel people, you pro-Palestine people. I'm pro-America. I made that clear when I first initially covered the Israel-Hamas war. I said, hey, I'm taking this from a pro-America perspective. If I see that the conflict does not benefit America, I don't want us involved in it. And people will call that anti-Semitic? What? That's some of the smears that's being labeled at Candance Owens. And I find that truly like disingenuous, dishonest, she called it out correctly. It's an ad hominem attack because people didn't agree with you all the way. People don't feel as strongly about Israel as you do, bro. I can attest to this. Me, Candace, America's all we know. We're not from some foreign place. We don't have ties to foreign place. This is it. Like if America goes, we have nowhere else to go. We migrate. If America goes away, Ben can go to Israel. I think he's a dual citizen, maybe. And this is the case why I think I'm starting to have this position where I don't believe dual citizens should be allowed to run for public office. That's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comment section. Let's get back into the video.
When they never explain what you got wrong, they don't call it wrong. They call it disinformation, which suggests it could be right. That's usually a tell. And speaking of, so I was out of the country yesterday and didn't have adequate internet access on the plane to really follow this. And I don't understand the context exactly. But the internet was dominated yesterday by video of Ben Shapiro, who you work with at the Daily Wire, I think it's fair to say, attacking you. Here's the video. I just want to get your reaction to it.
Yes, the question was about Candance Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt. I can't what was that? Yeah, I mean, she still works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
So maybe there's a point in the video where he explains what exactly you did wrong and how you were wrong. I haven't seen it. But to call somebody, quote, absolutely disgraceful, particularly a coworker, seems like a pretty big step. And I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree or, I don't think she's correct or maybe.
And a lot of things have been mentioned about Ben is like Ben is very, like, we understand, like, hey, like, you're very emotionally tied to the situation, right? If something, God forbid, happened to my family, I'll be probably pissed too. But one thing I'm always gonna keep in the back of my mind, no one cares about your family as much as you do, Kenny. That's always what I tell myself. I'm not entitled to people's sympathy. I'm not entitled to people's help. I'm not entitled to people's support. That's one thing I always keep in mind. I have power over my own mind, not outside events. Know this and you'll have strength. And this is why I think I have such a very strong personality, right? That no matter what kind of adversity I go through, I'm like, hey, look, I can handle it. I can figure it out. I could resolve my own issues. And if someone helped me, I'm grateful for that. They didn't have to. Because I understand that it's a privilege if someone support you. It's a privilege if someone help you. But it's almost like like Ben Shapiro's really a millennial. That's how it comes across to me. Like, yo, he feels entitled that, hey, people have to be pro-Israel or you're pro-Hamas by default. Even if you take a nuanced take, hey, children are dying. Hey, we don't want kids dying. You have that take, Palestinians, they did this. Look, it's not my history. I don't care. I already did it. I already said, hey, Israel got some good points about how they have just as much of right to the land as Gaza. And what I'm trying to say is that Israel currently manages the land right now. And just because your people lost it, that's your ancestors' fault. Sorry, not sorry. That's human nature. That's human history. Conquered, you get conquered. It's a cycle. Okay, they're stewards of the land now. They're managing the land now. And I don't see Israel going away peacefully, Palestine. These people say, what is that, river to the sea? Palestine will be free? Okay, how are you going to accomplish that, bro? How? Tell me the how. Is it likely that Israel's going to, of their own accord, be like, you're right, Palestinians. We'll leave the land that we've spent billions of dollars creating, the infrastructure we set up, the cities that we put up, the border wall that we put up. Yeah, we're just going to leave it all behind and give it to you. You think that's going to happen? Does that sound like a practical scenario? No, it's not. So obviously, everyone knows, hey, you asking for war. And I'm saying America shouldn't be involved in it because every time America gets involved in something, it comes back to bite us in the A. I'm just saying. But let's get back into the video.
Just know what you're talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks.
Yes.
I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's.
I think this video was recorded before the tweet that came out where he said, hey, by all means, Candace, if you feel like you have to choose money over God, then quit. You can quit. I think this was recorded before that Twitter exchange, but I digress. Let's get back into it.
Interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly
On the COVID
remarkable.
vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. You know, we were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be a civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's just
I would say
it's a little weird. So he was on the left on those three biggest issues of our time, is what you're saying?
he has converted his opinions. He's accepted responsibility. He said, you know, I was wrong about the vaccine.
Oh, good. Good for him.
He is, you know, obviously pro pharma. His mom's a doctor, and I say to people, I'm very aware of my perspectives on big pharma, and I talk about it on my show openly. And I think that that's a tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions. But I, as I said, hope that it would remain respectful and that you wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak.
I think
you know?
that I agree with. Like I don't understand why it had to be so public, right? And this, I don't know. This is just a theory of mine. Don't take this as truth. But here's a theory of mine. I think something's going on in the background where maybe Ben thinks Candance is trying to anger her, position herself to move on from Daily Wire. That's just my speculation, right? And he's just like, yo, just hurry up and get out of here already. That's the sentiment that I'm getting from Ben Shapiro. But hey, this is just me speculating. Like at the end of the day, I don't know anything, right? But that's just where I'm going with it. This is just my thinking in it. He's like, yo, you're not gonna be here long term anyway, so why are you speaking on it? Like, I don't know. It almost seemed like Ben doesn't consider her part of his organization anymore. That's the feeling I'm getting. You can tell me your theories in the comment section below, but let's get back into the video.
I think that's fair. And just for clarity, because I really don't know, is he your boss? Does he?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Ben's involvement. He's not the CEO of the Daily Wire. He is not making the day-to-day decisions of the Daily Wire. And I do want to make it very clear because people are like, how could you possibly save Daily Wire after that?
And yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna like react to that, but Ben doesn't own Daily Wire. He's a co-founder. He has shares in it. Like he's I guess he's a board member there. He should be, right? And Ben explicitly say this all the time, like, "Hey, I can't fire people. Like, that's outside my wheelhouse." He says it in his own show, but people want to run with this narrative that he's the boss of the Daily Wire. Oh, like, I know he's influential in it, and he's like the star employee. If the star employee says something to management is inclined to act in because they want to keep the star talent, right? So that's what's really going on. I think he has major influences in Daily Wire, but I don't think he runs the decision making as much as people think he does. But I kind of want to leave it off at there, and I kind of want to just talk about the whole this whole anti-Semitic attack stuff. Like, it's so funny how many of the people who are Israel, pro-Israel, whatever, they're doing the similar tactics to BLM. Right? Remember BLM? If you didn't put a black square on your bio, you're a racist. It's the same thing going on with the pro-Palestine, pro-Israel little sentiment going on. And it's like they don't realize they're in a different country. Right? And that's why I started off with the intro. The intro is like, if Americans cared about their country as much as they care about countries overseas, we will have a very different country. You wonder why America's always last? It's because Americans themselves put their concerns last. They want to meddle in other people's business instead of worrying about their own business. Just like if you're a family, what they say, worry about your own house before you start trying to tell other people how to run theirs. America needs to take that template. But you know, I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who you got on this? Whose side you're on? Candace, tell me why. Ben Shapiro, tell me why. Or you're not on either side and you'd be like, yo, this is some useless drama that is distracting from the actual issues that's affecting our country. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.